Hello, and welcome back to my series where I tell you my top 10 favorite Pokemon of any given type and why. Today, I want to talk about the ice types. Ice is my third favorite Pokemon type. I love the power and the mystique behind this typing. There's also something profoundly beautiful about ice as snow. There's serenity, the feeling of isolation and calm they evoke, and the Pokemon team does a great job at translating these themes into their ice type Pokemon. Well, most of them. Ice type Pokemon have the unfortunate tendency to be either incredibly beautiful or incredibly goofy slash ugly. Looking at you, Vanillix and Avalugg, but nevertheless, still a very cool type. For one of the few honorable mentions that I have in this series, I have Delibird. It's such a derpy and interesting Pokemon. I wish it was more viable in combat because I really like its special move, Present. I like the idea of random chance swaying the tides of battle. It's why I really like the moves Metronome and Assist so much. Delibird also has a really funny gag in the anime where it's supposed to be collecting a debt from Jesse and James, and when they fail to be able to pay, it throws bombs at them and sends them blasting off away. It's so funny. I love it. It's so. At number 10, we have Weavile, the epitome of the glass cannon trope. And this might be the reason why I enjoy glass cannon type characters and fighting styles. Weavile appeared in the Lucario movie, and I was instantly fascinated by its speed and power. This is one of the only powerhouse Pokemon that I have on any of these lists, and it's because of how cool its design is. The sleek, feline body, along with the Egyptian inspirations in both the collar and the crown and the jewel, it's just, I love it. It's so well done. At number 9, I have Snorunt. This is one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. He's just so cute. He's just a shivering little guy. His inspiration also draws into question why Frostless wasn't introduced in Generation 3 along with Snorunt, as he's based off of the Yuki Warashi, childlike snow spirits said to be the children of the Yuki Onna, the inspiration for Frostless. So why was Glalie, the screaming ice-faced Pokemon, introduced alongside Snorunt? Who knows? It's been so long since this happened, whoever made that decision probably doesn't remember their own reasoning. At number 8, I have Articuno, a simple yet beautifully designed Pokemon, and I think there's a reason why this legendary bird has been seen more than any other in the anime, and it's because of how simply breathtaking Articuno is every single time it's on screen. The trailing sparkling ice falling from its wings and tail are such a good design, it adds to the mystique of the Pokemon, making it feel like a legend. It's so gorgeous. At number 7, I have Aurorus, another beautifully designed Pokemon, and it honestly makes me wish that there were more Pokemon based off of the Aurora Borealis and the mythology around it, because having only one feels like a devastating mistake. This is definitely my favorite fossil Pokemon of all time. Normal fossil Pokemon are powerhouses with rougher designs, but they truly leaned into the beauty and wonder of archaeology with Aurorus. The episode in the anime with her in it is just so good too. It's so heartfelt. But honestly, they could have gone a little bit harder with the colors and the veil design. But in the anime, they truly kind of make it look like she's made out of the Northern Lights. It's so good. At number 6, I have Frostmoth. Frostmoth was the Pokemon that I was most excited to train in Gen 8. It's such a lovely design. I think I was also very much into Mothra from Godzilla because I had just seen the new Godzilla movie a few weeks before this game came out. So having an Ice-type Mothra was everything I could have wanted in the moment. And because of my love for this Pokemon, I really hope that this episode in the anime was good because I haven't seen it. To be honest, I stopped watching the anime when I sensed that Pokemon Journeys was going to be Ash's last generation. I could feel it in my bones, with all of the cameos from past friends and rivals and showcasing every single Pokemon. I just knew that we were coming to an end of the chapter of Pokemon. And I'm just going to need like an entire week off of work just to rehydrate my body if and when I go to finish the series. Not going to lie, I sobbed when the official news came out that it was Ash's last season. I'm 28 years old. I'm as old as Pokemon. Ash has been a lifelong companion for me. So yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking. At number 5, I have Lapras. I don't know if I've actually ever trained a Lapras as a main team member in any Pokemon playthrough I've ever had. I know it's a pretty late game Pokemon in any gen that is in, but I've loved Lapras since Pokemon 2000 in the Arch Island League, so it feels weird that I haven't properly raised one yet. I'll have to change that. But this is such a majestic Pokemon design, I would totally raise a Lapras if Pokemon were real. Have you guys ever heard of the story of the guy whose younger brother raised a whole bunch of Lapras eggs only to release them as soon as they hatched because he was so worried about the Pokédex entry saying that Lapras was going extinct that he felt like he needed to intervene in some sort of way? It's just so sweet. That's the kind of wholesomeness that I try to emulate in my everyday life. And speaking of wholesome, at number 4, I have Dugong. I know this design is just a pure white seal with a little horn, but it's the simplicity is just so freaking cute. And in the Mewtwo movie, when it's crying over Ash's sacrifice, I think that image haunts me almost as much as Pikachu crying and zapping Ash in denial. Why is Pokemon crying so heartbreaking to see? I guess it's kind of like if we saw our real life pets crying human tears. I know I personally wouldn't be able to handle that. I think I'd break down for like a solid year if my cat cried human tears for me. But anyways, on a lighter topic, I just love that it's both derpy and majestic at the same time. It's really well done. Also, dugong gong gong. At number 3, I have Glaceon, my second favorite evolution. But I do hate that she's locked behind the 6th gym, whereas her sister evolution from Diamond and Pearl is available as soon as you get an Eevee. It just feels a little unfair. But nonetheless, I love her design. The bangs are banging, and I love the little ear droopies and how they look like snowflakes. The design is so well crafted that for the longest time after Glaceon came out, I didn't know if it would be taking my favorite Pokemon spot away from Espeon. But as we can see from this list, Glaceon isn't even my favorite Ice-type Pokemon anymore. And can we take a moment to look at the Pokédex entry and how cool it is? Being able to lower your body temperature to the point where you freeze the moisture in the air around you is just crazy cool. She's basically Frozone. At number 2, I have Alolan Ninetales. Ninetales was already such an interesting and beautiful Pokemon, but giving it the Ice Fairy type in Alola really took the mystique up and ramped it to 1,000. The Pokédex entries kind of tell it all. It was once believed to be a deity reincarnated on Earth until it was identified as a Pokemon, but I can see why there was the mistake. The fluffy 9 tails and the swooping curling updo, it makes her look like she's made of clouds and snowbanks. And the glowing blue eyes perfectly capture the Pokemon's intelligence and mysticism. I want an Alolan 9 tails so badly. They seem like the Belgian Malinois of the Pokemon world. Also, not to fall into a gay trope or anything, but I would be way more interested in Pokemon coordination than battling in the Pokemon League if I was in the Pokemon world. And I know that Alolan 9 tails would be my ace during the styling rounds. And at my number 1 spot, I have Frostless. Yeah, this is what I meant when I said that I would have some Pokemon on 2 lists, depending on how much I like them. Frostless is my second favorite Ghost Pokemon, but it's absolutely my favorite Ice-type Pokemon of all time. Again, I love the design and mythology behind this Pokemon, the Yuki Onna, and how well the Pokemon team translated the stories into her design. I also can't talk about the ice aspects of Frostless without talking about Candace. And her Frostless is a beast of a Pokemon in Platinum. Also, Candace is one of my favorite gym leaders that we get to meet in the anime. I felt like we had like a sisterly kind of bond from our love of Ice-type Pokemon and also the fact that I also wore a jacket tied around my waist everywhere I went back then. So I felt really connected to her. Also, her bubbly personality is kind of fitting. So I just love seeing how notorious she is in our collective nostalgic memory simply because of how challenging her Frostless was. And it's just fantastic. I love this Pokemon. So, what do you guys think of my list so far? What are your favorite ice types, ghost types, and psychic types? Actually, what's your favorite Pokemon from every type? I would love to hear about it in the comments. This is a discussion between us girls, okay? So, let's keep the party going.